maybe you from the 1970s when the Los Angeles Rams was known as the Prison Foursome because of that defensive line. Or maybe you in the city of St. Louis, the gateway to the Midwest, where the greatest show on turf brought home the first ever Super Bowl championship. Or maybe you in the here and now with the Rams back in LA, winners of Super Bowl 56. You can rock Eric Dickerson. You can rock Marshall Faulk, Isaiah Bruce, and Kurt Warner. Or maybe you rocking Cooper Cup, Aaron Donald, and Matthew Stafford. It doesn't matter because when it comes to this, it's all about the Los Angeles Rams. Horns up, Rams South. Time to talk Rams football.
Good day, Ram Nation. Good day, good people. What's up, Ramily? How y'all doing? The Playmaker back for another episode of Ramily Talk. I believe will be episode 4 because we did our episode with Aaron Donald retiring. We did an episode on the draft class that is looking to do some big things this year. And then we started our season preview last week with weeks 1 through 5. We're going to get through 7 to 10 today because the Rams have a bye week in week 6, okay? So that's how that worked out. But nevertheless, the Playmaker's here, down there, the Playmaker Silence here, the host of the Ramily Talk podcast. Thank you for watching on YouTube. Appreciate all the love and support that I'm getting from my YouTube channel. It's been great. We're up to 200 subscribers. So, lady, if you know any Rams fans that haven't heard about this podcast, let them know about it. Send it to them. Tell them, hey, it's a guy here all the way from Florida who loves the Los Angeles Rams and talks about them all the way on the East Coast. So give them the show, let them look at it and judge for themselves. So also tell some of your enemies because just because they don't like you doesn't mean they won't like me. Yes, I did steal that from my Monster Wrestling co-host, Cool McCain. Shout out to him. And Eagles Elite podcast, which he aired yesterday. Good show. They do a good job in covering the Eagles. That's the way that I cover the Rams. So looking forward to that. Now, real quickly, got a couple of Ramily news for you that we're gonna get into. We're gonna take a break, and then we're gonna dive into week 7 through 10 to get this season preview on the road because we are 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away from opening night down in Detroit, Michigan, where we have a wild card rematch with the Detroit Lions. So without further ado, let's get to it right here, right now. First order of business is, and those of you who are new to Ramily Talk are watching for the first time, or if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, you just know most of my Ram news that I bring to you come from Stu Jackson, the senior staff writer for the Los Angeles Rams. So he puts out an article that says Matthew Stafford, Jonah Jackson returned to practice as Rams prepare for joint practice against the Houston Texans in Houston. This was back on August 19th, about 3 days ago. Says as the Rams begin their preparations for joint practice with the Texans in Houston, 2 offensive starters return to practice on Monday. Quarterback Matthew Stafford from hamstring tightness and offensive lineman Jonah Jackson from shoulder both participated in stretching and individual drills before being withheld from the team's drills on Monday's practice. So they are being precautious. So I'm guessing on Monday, and I'm pretty sure they'll start to still precautious up to this point with Matthew Stafford and Jonah Jackson. They want to make sure that we get our big guys in because, Matthew Stafford is our quarterback. Karrion Williams is our starting running back. I want to see what Blake Corum is on the depth chart whenever that is finalized. So he should be the backup. Okay, we know Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua are 1 and 2 wide receivers. We still got DeMarcus Robinson, so he should be in the third slot. All right. Haven't heard much for Tyler Higbee, so I'm thinking he's back where he's supposed to be as a starter. All right. Then we got a pretty decent offensive line. Defensive side, I'm looking forward to that when that depth chart comes out. Who's going to replace Aaron Donald in the middle of that defense? Bryce Young had a great year last year. Kobe Turner had a great year last year. We bring in Jared First and Brandon Fitz, both from Florida State, so they get the team together again in the pros like they did in college. That's going to be interesting to look at for us, the defensive line spot. I'll also be looking at the cornerbacks and see stuff like that. But good to have Stafford and Jackson back practicing and doing something and just not being able to do nothing. So That's good. That's a very good news for the Los Angeles Rams part. Now we are. Now here's something I'm kind of interested in. This is in a weird kind of way. This is kind of weird. Los Angeles Rams to host kickoff watch party at Hollywood Forever Cemetery. This came out yesterday morning. All right. Those who are listening to the audio, this is from the Rams.com website. To celebrate the start of the NFL season, the Los Angeles Rams are hosting the Royal Tour watch party at the iconic Hollywood Forever Cemetery on Sunday, September 8th. Thousands of fans will be gathered around touchdowns and tombstones to watch the Los Angeles Rams visit the Detroit Lions, kicking off this season where last one ended for the Rams. Those who remember, I'm pretty sure everybody who's a Rams fan remember, our season did end in Detroit in the wild card round. The 24-23 win by the Detroit Lions in a very competitive, matter of fact, the most competitive wild card game of that whole week. Okay, because the other ones were blowouts. We was the only competitive game, and you was glued to the TV from start to finish, and it was on NBC, by the way, which this game here would be in NBC, by the way. So not only it's the rematch of both teams, now it's not only is another rematch between Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff, it's a rematch in the same building, Ford Field, on the same broadcasting network, NBC, with the same two commentators calling the game. All right. So this should be very fun. Mike Tirico and Chris Carter's first game is back where it ended. Everything's right back in order. How the season ended is right back how we started. All right. Tickets are available. They was available yesterday for the Rams season ticket holders and tomorrow for general public. So season ticket holders got tickets yesterday. General public can get tickets today. Tickets are $9 for season ticket members and $16 for the general public. To purchase tickets and for more information, visit the Rams.com/watch party. That is TheRams.com/WATCPARTY. The Rams.com watch party. All right. So get your tickets, be ready. Kind of strange to be doing it in the cemetery, but I'm not going to dive into that. But I would say this: if you're going to watch, go ahead, enjoy yourself, get around other Rammy, all the Rams fans, and let's see if we can make amends what happened at the end of the season. And if you heard me last week, you heard what I said last week. But if you didn't, I did preview that game, and I did have us winning that game, getting payback, just like we did against Seattle. Because remember when we played the season before, our season ended in Seattle. Okay, they beat us. Matter of fact, they beat us in overtime in Seattle. That's how they got into the playoffs. And then next year, when we opened the season at Seattle, and we blew them out. It was 30-13, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I'm not calling for a 30-13 type of repeat from the Rams. I'm not doing that, no, because I respect Detroit. Detroit has a very great team. But I will say this. I think payback is on the horizon. I think the Rams start off the year 1-0 against the Detroit Lions. But I react that when we go to our next segment, because when I do a quick recap of what I did last week and then dive into what I'm going to do for today's show. All right. So we're going to end it right there. We're going to take our first break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk season preview. Beginning at week 7, going to week 10.
I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition, dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court. Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Into the Net FC.
Kylian Mbappe just all of a sudden finally understood his role, and I think he finally understood that everything Kylian Mbappe has accomplished already, there is still a hell of a lot waiting for him in the future. Kylian Mbappe is only 24 years old. He has accomplished so much, and you know what? Kylian Mbappe has not even reached his prime. Finally seeing, the Marcus Rashford we have been hoping for such a long time, But, this game, after everything Manchester United has been, doing lately, this was actually the ultimate test, to see if Manchester United, honestly was all of a sudden for real.
I explained this. The United States, maybe they have to suffer this loss as a lesson to learn to prepare for the future. Because 4 years from now, the World Cup is in not one, not two, but 3 countries. The United States of America, Canada, and Mexico. Into the Net FC is available on all streaming platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and YouTube.
Get mounts of entertainment with Paramount Plus. Stream new movies such as Mean Girls, Transformers: Rise of the Beast, and Good Burger 2 with Paramount Plus. Stream live sports such as the UEFA Champions League, the NFL on CBS, the PGA Tour, and March Madness. Catch hit CBS shows such as Fire Country, Ghost, NCIS, and more. But also catch exclusive originals for Paramount Plus such as Special Ops Lioness, The Famous Stallones, and the hit series Halo. The new streaming home of Showtime. Watch Showtime original series and movies when you sign up with Paramount Plus with Showtime. Make it a fun, action-packed adventure for the whole family and create kid-friendly profiles for the little ones. So much to stream with Paramount Plus, with over 45,000 full episodes from BET, CBS, Comedy Central, MTV, Nickelodeon, and more. Paramount Plus plan starts at $5.99, but if you subscribe today, you get a free trial. Paramount Plus, mountains of entertainment.
In a world where chronicles of the past are brought to the streams, whether the content is relatable or completely beyond your realm of life, there is no shadow of a doubt that this show is absolutely full of shenanigans. Get ready for
D. Willie in the evening,
this Sunday at 10:05 p.m. Eastern,
exclusively on Sertoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome. Whether it's the men's college game,
the way that this season has been going, anything is possible.
the women's college game,
And how passionate Angel Reese was at that press conference, they got their mojo now.
the WNBA,
AJ Wilson Brown stood at 1 and 2, followed by Brittany Griner, Aaliyah Boston, Jackie Young.
or the NBA.
The Lakers had a 0.8 chance of winning. And then what happened in the fourth quarter? LeBron James by himself outdid the Clippers.
You will get any and all of the information right at your fingertips or your earlobes. Join the Playmaker as he breaks down all things basketball in Shooting Lights Out on the Playmakers blog, network, YouTube channel, and where you can find podcasts.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Ramily Talk here on this lovely Thursday, August 22nd, as we are counting down the days before the NFL season starts. 2 weeks away from the NFL season starts and looking forward to it. In 2 weeks, we're talking Baltimore Ravens, Kansas City Chiefs in 2 weeks on Thursday. Friday, we got the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles in Brazil. And then Sunday, in 2 weeks is NFL full slate with glimpses with Sunday night football between the Los Angeles Rams and the Detroit Lions. Now, last week we did our season preview with weeks 1 through 5, and I had the Rams going 4-1. 4-1. All right. Then look into it. I was beating the Detroit Lions at Detroit on Sunday night. We go to Arizona week 2. I was beating Arizona because we own the Arizona Cardinals. And our home opener is week 3 against the San Francisco 49ers. And I have us taking an L. because I need to see us beat the San Francisco Niners starters. Okay, when we finally broke that 9-game winning streak of the San Francisco 49ers against us, it was Sam Darnold versus Carson Wentz. Christian McCaffrey didn't really play. Debo didn't play. Cup didn't play. Puka, he played for like the first half just to get the rookie records, and that was it for him because both teams was already in the playoffs. San Francisco was already the number 1 seed, and we already had clinched our 6th seed spot, so we are already in. Nevertheless, I want to see us beat the starters. Until then, I need to see something. I need to see something from Matthew Stafford. I need to see Matthew Stafford conquer this 49ers defense. Okay. But then we had the Soldier Field in week 4, and we beat Caleb Williams and all the hype that is going on with Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears, even though they got DJ Moore on one side, they got Keenan out on the other side. Can't either one of them stay healthy. We'll see how Caleb Williams transitions to the NFL. I don't care about preseason. When it's all said and done by week 4, we will have an idea of how Caleb Williams is looking in the NFL. And then week 5, we come back home and we play the Green Bay Packers. And this is different. Jordan Love had a great year. The Green Bay Packers had a great year. There was the 7th seed. They got in. But you're coming to LA this time. We're not going to Lambeau Field this time, but you're coming to LA. And this is where I think the Rams should be able to finally get over the Green Bay Packers. So that was last week. This week, week 7 through 10. Home to the Las Vegas Raiders. The Minnesota Vikings in a primetime game. We go to Seattle, and then another primetime game against the Miami Dolphins. To begin, we had the Las Vegas Raiders at home. The Raiders. They have named Gardner Minshew as their starting quarterback. Will he still be the starting quarterback by the time week 7 comes and the Vegas Raiders leave the confines of Nevada to come into sunny California and LA to take on the Rams in the Rams house? Antonio Pierce has been a hell of a coach. He got the coaching job for doing a heck of a job, being the intern last year, finishing out, I think, 5-4, and having a team galvanized around here. So the Las Vegas Raiders, 8-9. They were second in the AFC West. Of course, we all know who won the AFC West. Matter of fact, they're the Super Bowl champions. And thankfully, they are not on our schedule, so we don't get to see Patrick Mahomes. Aiden O'Connor completed 62.1% of his passes. He threw for 2,218 yards with 12 touchdown passes to 7 interceptions, quarterback rating of 83.9, and he did have a rushing touchdown in 11 games. The starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders last year was Jimmy Garoppolo, who is now the backup to Matthew Stafford with the Los Angeles Rams, who is suspended for 2 games, so he will not be around for the Detroit game and Arizona game, but he'll be there for the 49ers game on. He completed 65.1% of his passes, throwing for 1,205 yards, 7 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and a quarterback rating of 77.7. Josh Jacobs, who's no longer there, he is with the Green Bay Packers, so we'll be seeing him in green and white instead of the black and silver. So we'll be seeing him in week 5. But he was the leading rusher for the Las Vegas Raiders last year. He had 233 carries for 805 yards. 6 rushing touchdowns, 37 catches for 296 receiving yards. Number 1 receiver and still there, Davante Adams. 103 receptions last season, 1,144 receiving yards, and 8 receiving touchdowns. Here's what they did in the offseason for the Las Vegas Raiders. They drafted tight end Brock Bowers from the University of Georgia with the 13th overall pick, which was an interesting pick. We didn't see that coming. How many people seen Brock Bowers going to the Raiders? We just talked about Gardner Minshew. They signed him from the Indianapolis Colts. Now he is their starting quarterback. They bring in Alexander Madison from the Minnesota running back. They did bring in Michael Gallup from the Dallas Cowboys. And then first day into OTAs, Michael Gallup retired from the NFL. So they do not have another receiver capable to being opposite of Davante Adams as we speak, but we shall see because we don't know how the season's going to progress. They bring in offensive tackle Anderson Pete from the New Orleans Saints, and then the big move on the defensive side for the Las Vegas Raiders was defensive lineman Christian Wilkins from the Miami Dolphins, which was awesome. The last time we met the Las Vegas Raiders, it was in LA. It was week 14 of the 2022 season, and the Rams won it 17-16. I believe that game was on a Thursday night, if I remember correctly. Great win for the Rams, keeping them going. And yeah. So week 7, how do I see it going? The Rams will win. The Rams will beat the Las Vegas Raiders. They will move to 5-1 on the season. All right. They'll march forward in a short week, because when I say short week, I mean short week because week 8 is a Thursday night matchup with the Minnesota Vikings. This should be an interesting one here with the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings 7-10, third in the NFC North last year. There was some big injuries. Main one, Kirk Cousins with a torn Achilles, who is no longer there. He's now the quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. Completed 69.5% of his passes, throwing for 2,331 yards, 18 passing touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Quarterback rating of 103.8 in 8 games played. The other quarterback was Nick Mullins. Completed 67.6% of his passes, 1,306 yards passing, 7 passing touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Quarterback rating of 88.4 in 5 games. And then they brought in Joshua Dow, who was quarterbacking for the Arizona Cardinals at the time, but they brought him in with the injuries that was taking place at the quarterback position. He came in, completed 62.9% of his completions, 895 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Quarterback rating of 76.4. He also had 30 carries, 136 rushing yards, and 3 touchdowns. The leading rusher for them was Alexander Madison, who's now with the Las Vegas Raiders, as we just talked about. He had 180 carries for 700 yards rushing. He also had 30 catches, 192 yards, and 3 touchdowns. But he's no longer there. He is no longer there again. Now, Justin Jefferson, who is still the number 1 receiver in Minnesota, 68 catches for 1,074 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns. Excuse me. Only played in 10 games, and he suffered an injury. Like I said, the Minnesota Vikings was beat up last year. They suffered a lot of key injuries, and that's the reason why they went 7-10. TJ Hawkinson, their star tight end, 95 catches, 960 yards receiving with 5 receiving touchdowns. Now, here's what they did. I'm going to come back to J.J. McCarthy in a minute. First of all, they starting quarterback now is Sam Darnold from the San Francisco 49ers. I'm talk about why he's the starting quarterback in a bit, but I'm gonna get to the rest of this. They new starting running back is Aaron Jones from the Green Bay Packers, which is interesting. Aaron Jones left Green Bay to go to Minnesota. That's how Josh Jacobs ended up being a Green Bay Packer. Justin Jefferson got a contract extension for a year. 4 years, $140 million contract extension, well deserved. Nobody will argue with that. None whatsoever. Well deserved from Justin Jefferson. They bring in edge rusher Jonathan Gennard from the Houston Texans, which is a very good pickup. And they bring in cornerback Shaquille Griffin from the Jacksonville Jaguars, another good pickup. We should see how he fits in the Minnesota scheme of defense. But then you see, let's go back to the top of that key addition/signing. Quarterback J.J. McCarthy with the 10th overall pick from Michigan. They traded up to get him. Unfortunately, we will not see J.J. McCarthy. This is why Sam Darnold is the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. Torn meniscus in the right knee, if I remember correctly, of J.J. McCarthy. That will require him to miss the entire rookie campaign of the 2024 season, which is a bummer to a lot of people, because including myself, because I wanted to see how J.J. McCarthy would look in the pros. He did very well. He was coming off a year when he won the national championship with the Michigan Wolverines, head coached by then Jim Harbaugh, who's now the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. Brett Corum, who was the running back for us, was in the backfield of that team as well. And it's a shame we will not get to see the rookie J.J. McCarthy with a torn meniscus, but prayers go out to you, sir. We hope for a full recovery. And that way, when next year comes around, you'll be fully healthy and you'll be ready to rock and roll and get your NFL career started on the right path. Now, the last time we met the Minnesota Vikings, it was back in 2021, week 16 in Minnesota. We won 30-23 over the Vikings. I do believe that was the year when we needed to go on a winning streak. Then we went on a winning streak. And that was towards the end of the season. We went on a very lengthy winning streak coming off the bye week, because we just absolutely got dusted by the Green Bay Packers going to Lambeau Field. went on a winning streak, and then that winning streak carried us into the Super Bowl when we beat the Cincinnati Bengals to capture the second ever Vince Lombardi Trophy for the Rams franchise. So 2021 was a good year to be a Los Angeles Rams fan. 2022 was not. Last year, 2023, pretty good year. But yeah, last time we met Minnesota was our Super Bowl year. And then how you see this game going with the Vikings, sir? A W for the Los Angeles Rams. I have the Rams winning this game. That will move them to 6-1 on the season. Now, some of you might be looking at 6-1. You got the Rams going 6-1. Yes, I have the Rams going 6-1 right now. You're going 6-1 right now. And I'm going to stop right there. We're going to take our other commercial break. And then when we come back, we're going to finish it off with weeks 9 and 10. Seattle and Miami.
Porter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze god.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crayon they get, they palm it and do 2 circles, and that translates to, I can beat up black people.
As she takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific time zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel.
Welcome to Ringside Chaos, the professional wrestling discussion segment of the Bear of Texas podcast. The only professional wrestling podcast in the world where pro wrestling is discussed passionately, with confidence, with great knowledge, and most of all, in the most sophisticated way. So brace yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, because chaos is about to be unleashed. Thing with Tony Khan now being in talks to buy WWE, I'm going to be honest with you. I spoke to this with Ricky Litwinkowicz, aka the Master of Mayhem, and he honestly believes that me talking about Tony Khan buying WWE is basically I'm kind of wasting my time because Ricky believes it's never going to happen. Okay, now don't get me wrong, Ricky, I respect what he says. He could very well be correct. But I gotta be honest with you, the fact that Khan is interested in supposedly buying WWE, to me, that's definitely worth talking about. Now, I should mention this. Shout out to Ricky, by the way. And I gotta mention this, that even Jim Cornette already had something to say. And he said, and I quote, "Ridiculous to think that could happen," unquote. A wrestling fan that's been super supportive of Brody Lee as a wrestler, and everything that WWE could have done with him, and everything that he could have shown and offered for the wrestling business. For me, I wasn't just a fan of Brody Lee himself, like in character. I strongly respected him, as a human being. Like I had a lot of respect for Jonathan Huber. That's Mr. Brody Lee's real name. So basically, I had a lot of respect for Brody Lee, Luke Harper, and of course, Mr. Jonathan Huber. Particular episode was about World Class Championship Wrestling. And the episode title is, WCCW Wrestling's Lone Star Legacy. And because I am the Bear of Texas, and I do hail from the Dallas-Fort Worth area of the state of Texas, World Class Championship Wrestling was basically my territory as far as being a wrestling fan goes. Ladies and gentlemen, Ringside Chaos is available on all streaming platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and YouTube.
Oh, yes. The tradition, the pageantry, the spectacle, the history, the slut. Wait. I gotta rep my brother's stuff right. All my DMV soldiers, stand up! And welcome to the Commander's Gridiron Report. You want your commanders to be repped right? Well, D. Willie is your man. Commander's Gridiron Report. every Monday at 3:05 p.m. Eastern, 2:05 p.m. Central, exclusively on the Sertoba Media YouTube channel. Music by J. Cool.
Where my soldiers? Right side. Commanders. Where my soldiers? Left side.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Ramily Talk here. And yes, I still got this one up because I want y'all to know. Yes, I have the Rams winning Thursday night, and we are sitting at 6-1 right now through 8 weeks of the season. Let's go to week 9. Week 9, we take the trip to the Pacific Northwest in a first of 2 meetings with the Seattle Seahawks. Now, let's talk about our division rivals from the Pacific Northwest, shall we? 9-8 last season, 30 in the NFC West, just missing out on making the playoffs. Geno Smith completed 64.7% of his passes, throwing for 3,624 yards, 20 passing touchdowns, 9 interceptions, a quarterback rating of 92.1. The stud running back Kenneth Walker III, 219 carries, rushing for 905 yards with 8 rushing touchdowns. He also had 29 receptions for 259 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown. When you say receiving, you have to think of 2 people, but they should have a trio of wide receivers in Seattle now. Main one being DK Metcalf, 66 catches, 1,114 receiving yards, and 8 receiving touchdowns. The running mate and staple of the Seattle Seahawks, Tyler Lockett, 79 receptions, 894 receiving yards with 5 receiving touchdowns. And then coming off his rookie season last year, Jackson Smith and Jitba, 63 receptions, 628 receiving yards, and 4 receiving touchdowns. Pete Carroll is no longer the head coach up in Seattle. He is now teaching classes at the University of Southern California, who is now part of the Big Ten Conference, which I previewed it on yesterday. So if you want to catch my Big Ten preview, check out our episode yesterday. Is on our YouTube channel, the Playmakers Bar YouTube channel. Burn down and grind down the Big 10 preview. All right. So you can check that out. Key signings and additions for the Seattle Seahawks. They brought in quarterback Sam Howell in a trade with the Washington Commanders. They also bring in offensive guard Lincoln Tomlinson from the New York Jets. If he's healthy, it's a good pickup for the Seattle Seahawks. If I do admit, if he's healthy, it's a good pickup for them. They did re-sign defensive end Leonard Williams, which is a good thing for them because they need to keep some pressure on some quarterbacks. And speaking on pressure on the quarterbacks, they drafted Byron Murphy, the defensive tackle. Byron Murphy, the second in the first round from the University of Texas. All right. And then just to show up that D-line and keep pressure on the quarterback, they brought in D-tackle Jonathan Hankins from the Dallas Cowboys. And then you need some help in the back end, so they brought in Rashad Jenkins from the Jacksonville Jaguars. We swept the Seattle Seahawks. Talk about what happened in week 1, 30-13 in Seattle, and then week 11 in Los Angeles, a very more tightly contested game. 17-16 win by the Los Angeles Rams. How about we make it 3 in a row? We go to Seattle again, and we beat Seattle. Yeah, that's right. We beat Seattle again. 7-1 through 8 weeks. 7-1. I'm with it. Now, most of y'all probably looking at me saying I'm crazy right now and think the Rams are going 7-1 right now. But I do have the Rams going 7-1. Our schedule is not difficult. If you really look at our schedule, we don't have a difficult schedule. Okay? When I told you last year that what took place in the offseason actually helped the Rams out more than anybody, nobody believed me. I had us going 11-6 throughout the season. We went 10-7, and we made the playoffs. Like I said, we would make the playoffs. We won't win the division, but we will make the playoffs, and we make the playoffs. So I do see 7-1 happening right now. I can see 7-1. Everybody is healthy. Because this is pretty much when anytime you do a preview prediction type stuff, you assuming everybody's healthy across the board, your team and the whole team they playing against. Everybody's healthy. Rams can be 7-1. That's what I'm telling you. When we get to week 9, after week 9, the Rams are 7-1 on the season. Only loss is the San Francisco 49ers because that's the only team that has that has our number. Okay, I can see 7-1. Sounds crazy to a lot of y'all. I know it does. But I do see 7-1 right now. And then week 10 is a Monday night showdown at SoFi Stadium against the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins. Okay. 11-6 last year, second in the NFC East, not West, NFC East. Sorry about that. They were a 6th seed in the ALC, and they got beat by the Kansas City Chiefs in a wild card round. I'm just going to say this now. When you don't choke at home against the Tennessee Titans on a Monday Night Football, you wouldn't have to go to Kansas City for the wild card game, which was -4 degrees. But that's what Miami did, and they choked. All right. Tua Tagovailoa, 69.3% completion percentage, 4,624 passing yards, 29 passing touchdowns, 14 interceptions, quarterback rating of 101.1. Very good weighting. Not bad. Raheem Mostert, 209 carries, 1,1200 rushing yards, 1,012 rushing yards, 18 rushing touchdowns. He also had 25 receptions for 175 yards and 3 receiving touchdowns. Devon Achin, stud rookie from Texas A&M, 103 carries, 800 rushing yards with 8 rushing touchdowns, 27 catches, 197 receiving yards, and 3 receiving touchdowns. They got a nice 1-2 punch in down there in Miami, if I do say so myself. And they do have a nice 1-2 punch. Could be a 1-2-3 type deal with Miami Dolphins. But the 1-2 punch in receiving core is obviously number one. Tyreek Hill, 119 catches. Just 1 yard shy of 1,800 yards is 1,799 receiving yards with 13 receiving touchdowns. And his running mate, Jalen Waddle. Waddle. 72 receptions, 1,400 receiving yards, 1,014 receiving yards, and 4 receiving touchdowns. They did sign Raheem Mostert to a 2-year contract extension worth $9.75 million extension. They brought in wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. from Baltimore. So, like I said, they could have a trio they damn self with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Odell Beckham Jr. Speaking of Jalen Waddle, he got a 3-year contract extension worth $84.75 million extension. Then they had to bolster up their defense. Edge rusher Shaquille Barrett from Tampa is with the Dolphins. He took the 4-hour trip down south to Miami to join them. Defensive line, Calais Campbell leads the Atlanta Falcons for the Miami Dolphins. Cornerback Kendall Fuller leads the Washington Commanders for the Miami Dolphins. Safety Jordan Poyer from Buffalo is now with the Miami Dolphins. And then safety Marcus May from the New Orleans Saints is now part of the Miami Dolphins. Now, last time we saw the Miami Dolphins, they did not fare very well whatsoever. 2020 Week 8 down in Miami, 28-17 win by the Dolphins. I do remember that game. That was the game where they came out to Jared Goff. It was blitz upon blitz upon blitz upon blitz upon blitz. They blitzed the hell out of Jared Goff that damn game. I remember that game because I was I was working. I had to work that day. And I think I was thankful that I did work that game because if I had to watch that game, I would have been pissed off the amount of time they blitz and Sean McVay didn't change nothing up. They didn't change nothing. They let them kept getting blitzed. Jared Goff kept getting hit, turned the ball over, and Dolphins was pretty much the Dolphins defense whooped our ass. This is before Tua Tagovailoa was Tua Tagovailoa. This is before Tyreek Hill was part of the Dolphins. I believe this was before Jalen Waddle became a part of the Dolphins. So yeah, this is the first time we meet in this is the first time we meet in this Miami team. The last Miami team, they were kicking our ass. We were getting blitzed left and right. It wasn't this Miami team that we're seeing in week 10 at home. on a Monday night with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman on the call. It's going to be an interesting one. One of the high power offenses in the league, the Miami Dolphins going against a revamp, retool LA Rams team when a lot of people didn't see much going on last year. Then they got surprised with what the Rams did last year. Now we're going to see. This could be a high scoring game. Usually favors the Miami Dolphins, but not on Week 10. Not on Monday Night Football. Not in SoFi Stadium. Not in Los Angeles, California. Because the Rams will win this game against the Miami Dolphins at home. They will protect home field. I'm going to be complete. I feel this is the year the Rams will protect home better than they did last year. They will be protect home. So then we can do better on the road. Oh, boy. Now we will lose to the one at home against the San Francisco 49ers because it is the San Francisco 49ers, obviously. But if they don't have Brandon Ayuk, that could go in our favor. Just throwing that out there. That is week 3. So if they don't have Brandon Ayuk, that could go in our favor. But yes, I have the Rams winning. And from week 7 through 10, I have the Rams winning all 4 games, which will put the Rams on a 6-game winning streak. 6-game winning streak. They won the first 2 at Seattle, at Detroit, at Arizona. They'll lose to the San Francisco 49ers at home. They'll go to Soldier Field and beat the Green Bay Packers. Soldier Field to beat the Chicago Bears. Then they'll come home to beat the Green Bay Packers. That messing up the NFC North teams. This is not good on my part. Go to Chicago at Soldier Field to beat the Chicago Bears. Okay, that's one win. Back home to Green Bay. That's 2 going to the bye week, so a 2-game winning streak. And then you add these 4 right here. 6-game winning streak for the Los Angeles Rams. 6-game winning streak. That will put the Rams at 8-1 through 10 weeks. 8-1 through 10 weeks. If you don't agree, say you don't agree. I'm pervious to all opinions. I'm not one of those that go crazy. But yes, 10 through week 10, 8-1. You feel me? That's the way I see it. We're going 8-1. Now, with that being said, that's 10 weeks. We still got 8 more weeks to go, which means we still have 2 more episodes to get through before we can actually get to the official games and see how they officially play out. Because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of y'all that's going to hold me accountable to this record. You mean y'all did last year and y'all saw that. I was pretty much on point with what I was saying last year. Hopefully I can be on point again this year. I'm looking forward to it, but things can change. We all know that. Things can change. Anything can happen. All right. But with that being said, that would do it for this edition of Ramily Talk here. We got through that. Next week here on Ramily Talk, I believe it's weeks 11 through 14, if I'm making a statement. Yeah, 11 through 14. And let me bring up the schedule real quick so y'all know what games I'll be looking forward to. Just in case you don't have the schedule in front of you, you're trying to figure out which is which. So let's see here. I should have had this up. Bad thing on my part here, but I will get that up real quickly for y'all. So 8-1, yeah. That's gonna be a tough task, but I do see the Rams be able to go 8-1. And then we'll start it back up with week 11 when we see the New England Patriots, and that will be in Foxborough. Then we'll tangle with the Philadelphia Eagles. I do believe that game is in prime time. The New Orleans Saints at home, and then I do believe we go to Buffalo if I'm not mistaken. I'll do Buffalo come to us. So nope, I take that. So we'll have 2-2. We go to Foxborough, come home for a primetime matchup with the Philadelphia Eagles, and we head to the city of New Orleans, city of Super Bowl this year. Get a taste of what the Super Bowl could be like in New Orleans, and then we come home to face Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. That will be weeks 11 through 14 for next week, and then going into week 1 of the season. In 2 weeks, it will finish it off with weeks 15 through 18, and then previewing that and reviewing that Detroit game before it kicks off. So that will do it for this episode. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you for watching on the YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and get notified for every video that we do, whether it's live, whether it's pre-recorded, or whether we cut a certain segment out and throw it on there by itself, whatever the case may be. Also, follow Ramily Talk on all your podcast directories, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, whatever else podcast directories you listen to out there. Go ahead and subscribe to that. I am the Playmaker. Until next week, enjoy your weekend, and I will see y'all later. For tuning into Ramily Talk. Ramily Talk is sponsored by Fanatics, Lids, and Paramount Plus. Get your favorite sports appeal with Fanatics or Lids, and get great streaming service with Paramount Plus. If you want to donate to the program, you can donate to us via Cash App, $D Playmakers. That is again, $D Playmakers. And remember, you can follow and subscribe to Ramily Talk on all podcast directories, including Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. And those of you who are on Apple, leave us a great review, leave comments on how you feel about Ramily Talk and the episode that you listen to. Tune in again next time for more Ramily Talk, hosted